Ever wonder which iconic American harvesting machines you may have missed? Well, today we're going to count down 10 rare gems from the 1900s that once revolutionized farms across the nation but have since slipped under the radar. From mechanical marvels that paved the way for modern harvesters to unsung heroes that shaped local communities, these lost legends help feed a growing country. Let's celebrate their features, their stories, and the marks that they left on agriculture. Number 10 is the McCormick Deering No. 61 Harvester Thresher. Now manufactured by International Harvester, the McCormick Deering No. 61 Harvester Thresher was introduced in the late 30s as a pull-type combine designed to tackle small grains like wheat, oats, and barley. Now, this model emerged during a transformative era when the U.S. farm scene was shifting from horse-drawn binders to tractor-powered machines. According to period advertisements by International Harvester, the No. 61 aimed to bring efficient harvesting within the reach of average farmers, offering a more compact design without sacrificing grain cleaning capabilities. One standout feature was the relatively light build for the era, which helped reduce soil compaction, an important benefit when farming on softer grounds or in places that were prone to wet conditions. The harvester included a reel, cutting platform, and threshing cylinder, all powered by the tractor's PTO, or power takeoff. Now, while it wasn't the first harvester thresher on the market, it was notable for its reliability, even in regions with inconsistent rainfall and thick stubble. Now, its cultural impact was tied to how it allowed smaller family farms upgrade from time-consuming manual harvesting methods. With a single pass, the machine cut, threshed, and separated grain, speeding up harvest time immensely. This efficiency gave many farm families in the 1930s and 40s a chance to grow and sell more grain than ever before. Though overshadowed later by self-propelled combines, the McCormick Deering No. 61 is fondly remembered by collectors who prize it as an emblem of American farming progress. It signaled a new wave of practical tractor-drawn harvester threshers and played a key role in bridging the gap between old-school binders and the modern combine era. Number 9 is the Allis-Chalmers All-Crop 60 Combine. Introduced around 1935 by the Allis-Chalmers Manufacturing Company, the All-Crop 60 gained fame for its ability to harvest multiple crop types, a real boon for diversified farms. According to archived Allis-Chalmers brochures, this pull-type combine was marketed as a versatile solution that could handle not just grains, but also crops like beans and clover seeds, making it popular in regions where farmers experimented with various plantings each season. The all-crop name was more than just branding. Farmers could switch headers and concaves relatively easily, meaning one machine could handle small grains, soybeans, and even certain grasses. In an era when money and labor were both tight, being able to do so many tasks with a single implement was a game changer. And while its 60-inch cut wasn't the biggest on the market, it proved perfect for many small and medium-sized operations that didn't need a massive output but did need reliability. Mechanically, the All-Crop 60 included features like rubberized canvas draper and a unique straw walker system that gently agitated the thresh material to separate out the grain. This reduced damage to seeds and offered impressive yield recovery, especially important for delicate seeds like alfalfa. Another key aspect was its relatively modest horsepower requirement. Tractors of lower power could still operate this machine. Now, culturally, it helped thousands of smaller farms across America remain profitable from the 1930s through the 50s. In some regions, seeing an Allis-Chalmers All-Crop 60 in a neighbor's field, well, that was a sign that the farm family had invested in modern mechanization, an expression of optimism in harder times. Though overshadowed by bigger self-propelled models in late decades, the All-Crop 60 still remains a beloved classic that showcased Allis-Chalmers' commitment to designing farmer-friendly machinery. Number 8 is the Baldwin Gleaner Model A. Before Gleaner was absorbed by larger companies, the Baldwin brothers introduced the Model A in the early 20s, making it one of the earliest self-propelled combines to see significant use, although it truly took hold in the 1930s. Now, this machine set the stage for what would become the Gleaner brand reputation: durable, innovative combines that were capable of handling varying crop conditions. The Model A's all-steel construction was particularly impressive during a period when many harvesters still employed wood frames. This robust framework reduced fire hazards and extended the combine's lifespan. Another hallmark was its efficient threshing system, which used a high-velocity cylinder and a well-designed separating process to yield cleaner grain. Though primitive compared to modern standards, it was cutting-edge in its day. Culturally, the Baldwin Gleaner Model A became a symbol of innovation in areas stretching from the Great Plains to the Pacific Northwest. Local newspapers at the time often reported on demonstration days where farmers marveled at its ability to roll through fields without needing a separate tractor to tow it. This autonomy was a big deal. Fewer horses or tractors meant less overhead and more time saved. Despite Gleaner being associated in later decades with the silver-colored combines from Alice Chalmers, the Model A's legacy is about much more than just brand identity. According to farming periodicals from the 20s and 30s, the Baldwin Gleaner name stood for reliability and forward-thinking design. Collectors today still chase after surviving units for vintage machinery shows. In fact, vintage clubs credit the Model A for influencing the entire trajectory of self-propelled harvester development, proving that early Gleaner engineering was nothing short of revolutionary. Number 7 is the Minneapolis Moline G4 Combine. Now, Minneapolis Moline was formed in 1929 as a merger of 3 farm machinery manufacturers: Minneapolis Steel and Machinery, Moline Plow, and Minneapolis Threshing Machine. Now, out of this collaboration came several notable implements, including the G4 Combine. Introduced in the late 30s and produced into the 40s. Prized for its simplicity, the G4 brought reliability and respectable capacity to a marketplace that was dominated by a few major names. The G4 was a pull-type combine that could handle wheat, oats, and various small grains efficiently. Its design emphasized ease of maintenance, featuring a straightforward threshing mechanism and a simple set of belts and pulleys that could be serviced on the farm. Local extension offices often recommended it to farmers who wanted a reliable workhorse without too many complicated parts. This made it a favorite in the Dakotas and Minnesota, where short harvest windows demanded consistent performance. Now, one of the G4's cultural legacies lies in how it carried on the Minneapolis Moline philosophy of farmer-first engineering. While some manufacturers focused on sheer throughput, Minneapolis Moline balanced capacity and budget-friendly solutions. Historical brochures spotlighted how the G4's minimal horsepower requirements allowed smaller tractors, often the Minneapolis Moline models themselves, to handle the job, fostering brand loyalty and cross-selling opportunities. Though the G4 isn't as commonly spotted these days at a farm show as some competitors from that era, it still has its devoted fans. Machine restorers rave about how easily its parts can be refurbished and how reliably it runs once restored. Now, many older folk in corn country and wheat states alike can recall the yellow and red paint scheme rattling across back roads. For them, the G4 stands as a testament to a time when harvesters were rugged, uncomplicated, and built to last, ensuring that Minneapolis Moline could be remembered fondly long after its merger into other companies. Number 6 is the Oliver Model 33 Combine. Oliver Farm Equipment Company has its roots in the early 1900s, originating from a merger of several plow manufacturers. By the 50s, Oliver had a reputation for sturdy tractors and implements, including combines like the Model 33, released in the early 1950s. It was a pull-type combine designed to meet the evolving needs of mid-century farms, right when tractors were growing more powerful and farmers demanded higher capacity machinery. Now, what made the Model 33 stand out was Oliver's focus on thorough threshing and separation. Contemporary Oliver sales materials boasted about its adjustable cylinder speed and concave clearance, letting farmers dial in settings for different crop conditions, whether it was slightly damp wheat or extra dry barley. The combine also included a variable speed reel, which was a strong selling point for producers that were dealing with uneven strands of grain. Culturally, the Model 33 had a loyal following in the Midwest and parts of the Northeast. According to historical dealership records, it was considered a mainstay for medium-sized operations that needed something bigger than old, small combines, but couldn't justify the cost or complexity of early self-propelled rigs. Oliver emphasized user-friendly maintenance with easy accessible inspection points and bearings, which was a blessing for farm mechanics of the day. Now, though it was overshadowed later by self-propelled Oliver models and eventually by the White Motor Corporation acquisitions, the Model 33 remains a favorite among classic equipment enthusiasts. It symbolized a transitional period where small pull-type combines still had a place, even as farming scaled up. Now, many farmers in the 50s relished the fact that it offered the capacity to tackle a decent chunk of acreage without jumping to the cost and upkeep of a newfangled self-propelled combine. Today, you're going to see the Model 33 at farm shows or vintage demonstrations, often serving as a conversation starter about Oliver's distinctive green paint and its contributions to heartland agriculture. Number 5 is the Massey Harris Model 21 Harvest Brigade Combine. Even though Massey Harris originated in Canada, its combines were immensely popular across the U.S., particularly during World War II. Now, the Model 21, introduced around 1941, was one of the first successful self-propelled combines to be mass-produced. It famously powered the Harvest Brigade, an organized effort where a fleet of these combines traveled from Texas northward with the ripening wheat, ensuring a continuous harvest. Now, from a technical standpoint, the Massey Harris 21 was well ahead of its time. It removed the need for a separate tractor by incorporating its own engine and drivetrain. This not only cut down on labor, but also made harvesting more efficient. Historical accounts in farm magazines highlight how the 21's straight-through design improved grain threshing and separation by allowing the crop to pass through in a relatively direct path from header to grain tank. Now, the cultural significance of the Harvest Brigade can't be overstated. In the midst of wartime labor shortages, mechanized harvesting helped keep America's breadbasket in full production. Newspaper clippings from the 1940s highlight how the traveling crews equipped with Model 21s played a crucial role in maintaining food supplies at home and abroad. The machine itself became an emblem of American-Canadian partnership in agriculture, bridging borders with its utility. Now, while Massey Harris eventually merged with Ferguson to become Massey Ferguson, the Model 21's legacy remains alive among vintage collectors. You can still spot restored units in parades and state fairs. These bright red combines not only introduced many farmers to the potential of self-propelled harvesting, but they also provided a morale boost during a challenging period. Even today, the machine's story symbolizes the resilience and ingenuity of Northern American agriculture during tumultuous times. Number 4 is the John Deere Model 55 Combine. John Deere's new generation era is famous for tractors, but well before that, the company produced some remarkable harvesters. The Model 55, introduced in 1947, was one of Deere's first self-propelled combines to find widespread commercial success. In archived John Deere literature, the 55 was touted as an answer to the call for increased efficiency in post-war farming, particularly as the U.S. faced a rapidly growing population. Now, technically, the Model 55 employed a side-mounted engine and a relatively compact body design, which made it easier to maneuver than some competitive models of the time. It featured a reel-driven header up front and a unique straw walker separation system that gently shook the straw to release grain. Many farmers appreciated the decent capacity that it offered without being overwhelmingly big for small or medium operations. John Deere's commitment to parts availability and dealership support made the Model 55 an especially wise investment for farmers who were wary of mechanical breakdowns. This machine quickly became a common sight across the Midwest, with owners praising its reliable performance and the green and yellow paint job that symbolized Deere's brand identity. Advertising from the 50s showcased the Model 55 as the epitome of modern farming, often pairing it in brochures with the latest John Deere tractors to project a unified, progressive image. Culturally, it was a stepping stone toward John Deere's later dominance in self-propelled combine technology. Even though more advanced models like the 95 and 105 would follow, the 55 still remains a nostalgic favorite. You might see one today in a Heritage Harvest demonstration, still humming along decades after it first hit the fields. For many farm families, the Model 55 wasn't just a piece of equipment, it was a symbol of newfound autonomy and an emblem of a rapidly advancing post-war America. Number 3 is the International Harvester Model 123 SP Combine. Released in the early 40s, the International Harvester Model 123 SP was among the first commercially successful self-propelled combines from the company that gave us the iconic Farmall tractor line. Building on the success of their pull-type machines, IH ventured into self-propulsion to meet demands for greater efficiency and reduced labor, especially crucial during World War II. The Model 123 SP featured a rear-mounted engine that was driving the combine through a transmission placed just beneath the operator platform. This design gave decent visibility over the header, something earlier pull-type machines just couldn't offer. It also employed a straightforward cylinder and straw walker separation method. Though rudimentary by later standards, at the time it was a breakthrough that allowed a single operator to harvest without needing a towing tractor. Now, references from vintage International Harvester catalogs show that IH touted the 123 SP's adaptability. Multiple header sizes were available, letting farmers choose widths that were suited to their operations. The design was robust, meant to withstand tough conditions like wheat stubble in the Great Plains or the humidity of the southern states. In cultural terms, the combine symbolized a shift in the mid-century mindset. Productivity skyrocketed thanks to mechanization. Newspapers of the 40s sometimes printed letters from farm families praising how one person could manage what had previously taken a small crew. This was a radical transformation at a time when rural populations were declining as people started to move to the cities. While overshadowed by the later IH Axial Flow series introduced in the late 70s, the 123 SP still holds a special place in the hearts of those who appreciate the classic red brand. Its success story paved the way for the Model 141 and beyond, positioning International Harvester as a leader in the emerging self-propelled combine market. Now today, seeing a 123 SP at a vintage machinery show is a rare treat, bringing back memories of how a single machine began to transform entire harvest seasons. Number 2 is the Ford 611 Combine. Ford, long associated with automobiles and the legendary Fordson tractors, ventured into combines through various partnerships and licensing agreements. One result of these collaborations was a pull-type Ford 611, introduced around the 60s. Not as universally recognized as some of Ford's tractor lines, but the 611 is still prized by certain enthusiasts who recall its distinctive blue and white paint scheme. Mechanically, the 611 was relatively straightforward. Marketing materials from the era highlighted its mid-sized cutting platform, typically about 6 to 8 feet wide, ideal for small to medium acreage farms. The combine's design centered on a rugged cylinder for threshing, with adjustable settings for handling both wheat and rye. Now, while it wasn't designed to tackle a huge variety of crops, it was competent enough for the grains that dominated many farming regions. Although Ford didn't dominate the combine sector like International Harvester or John Deere, the 611 still earned a loyal following for its affordability and ease of maintenance. Ford dealerships that farmers already trusted for tractors became one-stop shops for harvest equipment too, boosting the 611's adoption in pockets of the Midwest and the East Coast. Culturally, the Ford 611 represented a fascinating chapter in Ford's history, a time when the company was trying to leverage its strong brand recognition in tractors to carve out a niche in harvesting. Some farmers enjoyed brand consistency. Owning a Ford tractor and a Ford combine created a seamless experience for parts and service. Now, today, the 611 might not be as flashy, collectible as an Alice Chalmers or John Deere, but it's still admired for its practicality. In many ways, the 611 still stands as a testament to Ford's broader ambition to be an all-around solution for American farms, even if it's overshadowed by bigger, more iconic names in the combine world. And number 1 is the Case Model 600 Combine. J.I. Case has been a powerhouse in threshing machines long before combines emerged, so when the company introduced the self-propelled Model 600 in the mid-50s, it was seen as a natural progression of Case's expertise. According to period Case literature, the 600 was offered in multiple header sizes, 12 or 14 feet wide oftentimes, and it came with a side-mounted engine arrangement that gave operators a relatively unobstructed view. The 600's design aimed at maximum capacity without complicating the machine. Case engineers focused on a simple but sturdy cylinder and beater system that could handle wheat, oats, and barley with minimal adjustments. This approach cut down on the time that farmers spent tinkering in the field when conditions changed, something that was especially appreciated in regions where weather windows for harvesting could be a bit narrow. Now, beyond the mechanics, the Model 600 held significant cultural weight in the Farm Belt. A self-propelled Case combine rolling across fields carried with it the company's storied legacy, dating back to steam-powered threshers in the late 1800s. Farmers who trusted Case for threshing machines were often eager to see how the brand fared in the self-propelled arena. Now, many discovered that the 600 delivered consistent performance, giving them yet another reason to remain loyal. Its production continued into the 60s, and while later more sophisticated Case combines did emerge, the 600 still remembered as the model that firmly established the brand in the self-propelled segment. Restoration groups across the country keep these machines running, proudly showing them off at vintage harvest events. For many middle-aged folks who grew up around farmyards, the sight and sound of a Case 600 in action stirs up memories of dusty harvest days and the reassuring growl of a dependable engine. That kind of nostalgia is exactly what keeps these machines alive in the hearts of collectors and historians alike. Now, those were 10 iconic American harvesting machines that you might not see in action much nowadays, but each played a mighty role in shaping modern agriculture. From the first self-propelled wonders to pull-type heroes, they brought efficiency and innovation to struggling farms, helped feeding a booming nation through war and peace. And look, it's pretty amazing how these giants of yesteryear laid the groundwork for the combines that we see today. And we hope you found this video helpful, and if you love delving into the heyday of American farming, be sure to subscribe for more nostalgic deep dives and honest equipment breakdowns. See you soon!